What if I told you that 18 hours ago, NASA issued an emergency alert that 3I Atlas has changed its trajectory again? And this time, the new path brings it closer to Earth than any interstellar object in recorded history. Not 50 million kilometers, like they said last week. Not 20 million. The updated calculations released at 04:33 UTC this morning show closest approach at 2.4 million kilometers. That's 6 times closer than the Moon. That's satellite orbit distance. That's practically touching us in cosmic terms. And here's what has every astronomer on Earth losing sleep. The object made this course correction without any visible propulsion. No exhaust plume, no thermal signature, no reaction mass expelled. It just changed direction, like flipping a switch, like something with technology so advanced we can't even detect how it works. For 3 months, we've been watching 3I Atlas approach from interstellar space, tracking its velocity, plotting its path. Every calculation showed it would pass safely through the outer solar system and leave. A quick visit. A cosmic tourist just passing by. Then, 6 days ago, it accelerated near Mars, changed course, started heading inward, toward us. NASA went silent for 36 hours. When they finally spoke, they said closest approach would be 15 million kilometers. Safe distance. No threat. Everyone relax. But last night, everything changed again. At 04:15 UTC, the Deep Space Network detected another acceleration event, smaller than the first, more subtle, but deliberate, precise. And the new trajectory calculations are terrifying. 2.4 million kilometers. December 19th, 5 days from now. That's so close that 3I Atlas will be visible to the naked eye as more than a point of light. You'll see it as an actual object, a cylinder, moving across the sky, close enough to photograph with a decent camera, close enough to feel like it's right there, watching us. NASA's emergency bulletin, released just 3 hours ago, contains one line that's spreading across every news channel on Earth. We can no longer rule out intentional Earth-targeting behavior. Object appears to be under intelligent control with Earth as deliberate destination. Intentional targeting, intelligent control, deliberate destination. Those aren't words NASA uses lightly. Those are words that mean this isn't an asteroid. This isn't a comet. This is something that chose to come here. Something that wants to be near Earth specifically. Something with a purpose we don't understand. And the worst part? We have 5 days. 5 days until whatever is controlling 3I Atlas arrives at our doorstep. 5 days to figure out if this is first contact or final warning. 5 days until everything changes. If you want to understand what's really happening, why NASA waited so long to tell the truth, what this object actually is, and what might happen in 5 days when it arrives. Stay with me. Subscribe right now, because this channel will have daily updates as this situation unfolds. This is the most important story in human history happening in real time, and I'll make sure you know every detail before you drift off to sleep. Let's investigate what they've been hiding. November 8th, 03:14 UTC. Dr. Robert Warwick was on the night shift at the Atlas facility in Hawaii. Same facility where he discovered Oumuamua back in 2017. Same routine. Monitoring the sky. Tracking objects. Nothing unusual expected. Then his screen lit up. Infrared alert. Something in the Mars region showing massive temperature increase. Sudden, dramatic. He checked the coordinates. 3I Atlas. The object had been cold, typical for interstellar space rocks, around 240 Kelvin, colder than any place on Earth. Standard, expected, normal for something that had been in the frozen depths between stars. Now it was showing 680 Kelvin. then 720, then 780, climbing fast. In less than 2 minutes, the temperature had more than tripled. Werek's first thought: instrument malfunction. Sensors giving false readings. He checked the calibration, ran diagnostics, everything nominal. The data was real. He pulled up visible light observations from other telescopes. The object was brightening, magnitude dropping from 19 to 16 in real time. 3 magnitudes brighter. That's a factor of 16 increase in visible light output. Something was happening. Something energetic. Something impossible for a space rock. He called Dr. Davide Farnocchia at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Farnocchia was the trajectory specialist, the guy who'd been tracking 3I Atlas since discovery. If anyone would know what this meant, it was him. Farnocchia answered on the first ring. "I'm seeing it too. Temperature spike. Brightness increase. And Bob, it's accelerating. Look at the velocity vector." Werek pulled up the orbital determination data. The velocity had been steady at 28.4 kilometers per second for weeks, standard for an interstellar object passing through, predictable, calculable. Now it showed 28.9 kilometers, then 29.3, then 29.8, increasing steadily. Half a kilometer per second added in 20 minutes. "That's impossible," Werek said. "What kind of force would—" "I don't know," Farnocchia interrupted. "But it's sustained, continuous. This isn't outgassing. This isn't solar radiation pressure. This is active propulsion, and it's powerful." They watched in real time as 3I Atlas's velocity climbed. 30 kilometers, 30.5, 31. The acceleration was roughly 1.2 millimeters per second squared. That doesn't sound like much, but sustained over hours, it adds up. Sustained over days, it changes everything. "Calculate new trajectory," Werek said. Farnocchia was already running the numbers. His fingers flew across the keyboard. Orbital mechanics software processing the new velocity vector, projecting forward, calculating where this new path would lead. The results appeared on screen. Farnocchia went silent, just stared. "Dave? What does it show?" "It's not exiting anymore. The trajectory is no longer hyperbolic. It's curving, bending inward. It's going to pass through the inner solar system." "How close?" "Too close. If this acceleration continues, it'll cross Earth's orbital path. Not where Earth is now, but we'd need to track it for a few more hours to be certain, but..." "But what?" "But it might be targeting us. Deliberately." Farnocchia sent his preliminary report to NASA headquarters at 0351 UTC. Marked urgent, copied to the administrator, to the Near-Earth Object Office, to Planetary Defense Coordinators. Someone at NASA made a decision, posted a brief statement to the website. "Trajectory has changed unexpectedly. Object now poses potential close approach scenario. We are monitoring. Await further updates." Then, apparently, someone higher up saw that statement, saw the implications, saw the potential for panic, and ordered it removed. Within 8 minutes, the post was deleted. Website scrubbed. No evidence it had ever existed, except thousands of people had already screenshot it, already shared it, already started asking questions. And then the silence began. NASA stopped responding to media inquiries, stopped updating social media, stopped issuing press releases. Complete blackout. 04:17 UTC. ESA went silent. No explanation. Just stopped posting updates about 3I Atlas that they'd been providing daily for months. 04:22 UTC. Roscosmos. Silent. 04:31 UTC. CNSA. Silent. 04:45 UTC. JAXA. Silent. Every major space agency on Earth, within 90 minutes of the acceleration event, stopped all public communication about 3I Atlas. Coordinated, deliberate, controlled. Dr. Michelle Bannister at the University of Canterbury was watching this unfold from New Zealand. She'd been tracking 3I Atlas since detection, publishing papers, giving interviews, educating the public about interstellar objects. At 05 hours UTC, she received an email from her department head. Subject line: Immediate suspension of 3I Atlas communications. The email read, "You are directed to cease all public statements regarding the interstellar object 3I Atlas. This includes media interviews, social media posts, academic presentations, and informal discussions. This directive comes from ministerial level and is not negotiable. You will be briefed privately when appropriate. Compliance is mandatory." 43 Fonimantaiord. She'd never received anything like this. Academic freedom was sacrosanct. Researchers weren't gagged by governments, not in democratic countries, not without extraordinary circumstances. She tried calling colleagues in other countries. Dr. Alan Stern in the U.S., Dr. Alan Fitzsimmons in the U.K., Dr. Frank Marchus in France. All of them had received similar directives. All of them were confused, alarmed, and suddenly unable to discuss their research publicly. Something was very wrong. Amateur astronomers didn't have bosses to silence them. They had telescopes. They had software. They had internet connections. And they were watching 3I Atlas independently. By 06 WOW UTC, amateur observation groups worldwide were confirming the acceleration, posting measurements, calculating trajectories, and asking loudly online, why have all the official channels gone silent? Reddit threads exploded. Twitter hashtag 3iAtlasSilence was trending globally. YouTube videos with titles like NASA hiding something getting millions of views in hours. The silence wasn't hiding information. It was amplifying speculation, making everything worse, confirming everyone's worst fears about government cover-ups and hidden threats. Dr. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astronomer who'd made his career arguing for taking anomalous objects seriously, tried calling contacts at NASA. No response. Left messages. No callback. Sent emails. No reply. He posted to his blog at 08 UTC. I find it deeply concerning that all official channels have ceased communication about 3I Atlas precisely when the object's behavior became most interesting. Science thrives on transparency. Silence breeds distrust. Whatever is happening, the public deserves to know. His post was shared 50,000 times in the first hour. At 09:30 UTC, a small press release appeared on the White House website. Not about 3I Atlas specifically. Just, the President has convened the National Security Council for emergency briefing on space-related developments. Further information will be provided when appropriate. Space-related developments. That was all they'd say, but everyone knew what it meant. 3I Atlas. The acceleration. The trajectory change. The threat. While official channels stayed silent, an army of amateur astronomers around the world was watching, and they were seeing things that terrified them. Dr. Tom Kearse, a former astronomer now doing public outreach in the UK, had a good telescope, professional-grade equipment, and he'd been tracking 3I Atlas for months. When the object accelerated, he saw it happen in real time. But he saw something else, too. Something the brief official reports hadn't mentioned. At 10:25 UTC, he posted a detailed thread on Twitter. I've been monitoring 3I Atlas continuously since the acceleration event. Here's what I'm seeing that nobody is talking about. The object is not just accelerating, it's rotating. Its rotational period was 8.7 hours. Now it's 4.2 hours. It's spinning twice as fast. He included light curves, brightness measurements over time showing the rotation. The pattern was unmistakable, regular, periodic, but accelerating. Objects don't just start spinning faster on their own, his thread continued. Angular momentum is conserved unless external torque is applied. Something is actively spinning up this object. Reaction wheels, maybe. Gyroscopes. Whatever's controlling the acceleration is also controlling rotation. This is spacecraft behavior, not asteroid behavior. Within an hour, 3 other amateur groups confirmed his findings. The rotation rate was definitely increasing. 3II Atlas was spinning itself up deliberately. Then came the second discovery, from an amateur in Australia named Sarah Mitchell. She'd been taking spectroscopic measurements, looking at the light coming from 3I Atlas and breaking it into component wavelengths, checking what the object was made of. She posted at 11:40 UTC. The spectrum has changed. Before acceleration, it showed typical rocky composition: carbon, silicates, iron. Now I'm seeing emission lines that don't match any known minerals. Specific wavelengths at 486 nanometers, 534 nanometers, and 612 nanometers. Strong emission, not reflected sunlight. Actively emitting. I don't know what produces this spectrum. Nothing in my databases matches. Dr. Alan Fitzsimmons in Belfast, despite his gag order, couldn't resist checking her data. He confirmed it privately to colleagues. The emission lines were real, and they were strange. Those wavelengths, he told one colleague in an encrypted message, could be produced by plasma, hot gas, maybe propulsion exhaust, or maybe something else. But rock doesn't emit light at those specific wavelengths. This is active emission. From systems. From technology. The third discovery came from a team in Japan. Amateur radio astronomers listening to the sky. At 13:05 UTC, they detected something. A radio signal, coming from the direction of 3I Atlas. Faint, intermittent, but definitely artificial. Narrowband, about 20 Hz bandwidth, at 1.42 GHz, the hydrogen line. The frequencies SETI researchers had monitored for decades as most likely for interstellar communication. They posted their detection. We are receiving artificial radio signals from 3I Atlas. Pattern suggests telemetry. Maybe communication. We have recorded 15 minutes of signal. Uploading audio file for analysis. The audio file, when converted to sound, was eerie. Pulses. Regular intervals. Different pulse widths encoding information. Like Morse code, but more complex. Digital data transmission. Amateur cryptographers and signal processing experts dove in, trying to decode it, trying to understand what it was saying. Within hours, they found patterns, mathematical sequences, prime numbers, binary counting, the universal signs of intelligence attempting communication. At 14:30 UTC, a fourth discovery stopped everyone cold. Posted by amateur astronomer group in Chile with excellent equipment and dark skies. We have imaged 3I Atlas directly, high resolution. The object is not homogeneous. We see structure, surface features, what appear to be panels, possibly solar arrays, possibly antenna. Regular geometric patterns inconsistent with natural rock. Images attached. The images were grainy, low resolution, but you could see it. Rectangular sections, linear features, too regular to be natural weathering, too organized to be random rock formations. One panel appeared to be glowing, emitting light in infrared wavelengths. Hot spot. Exactly where you'd expect a propulsion system to be, if this was a spacecraft. By 15:08 UTC, 12 hours after the acceleration began, the amateur community had assembled a damning case. Active propulsion with sustained thrust. controlled attitude adjustment with increasing spin rate, anomalous emission spectrum suggesting exotic materials or plasma, artificial radio transmission with encoded information, visible surface structures consistent with engineering. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same conclusion. 3I Atlas was artificial technology, a spacecraft from beyond our solar system, under intelligent control, and now accelerating toward the inner planets, toward Earth. And still, official sources said nothing. The silence was deafening, and the silence was damning, because everyone now knew what that silence meant. They were afraid. The people in charge were afraid. And if they were afraid, we should be terrified. November 8th, 1530 UTC. Dr. Farnokia had been updating trajectory calculations every hour. Each new measurement refined the projection. Each new data point narrowed the uncertainty. The news kept getting worse. Initial calculations after the acceleration showed 3I Atlas would cross Earth's orbital path somewhere. But where exactly? And when? By 1530, with 12 hours of acceleration data, the answer was clear, and it was bad. 3I Atlas was now on a trajectory that would bring it to within 0.08 AU of Earth. That's 12 million kilometers. Close, very close, inside the orbit of most communication satellites, inside the Moon's orbit. And the timing? December 14th, 2025, just over 5 weeks away. But that assumed the acceleration stopped. If it continued, the approach would be even closer. If it continued and adjusted direction slightly, it could come closer still. Farnokia ran worst-case scenarios. If 3I Atlas maintained current acceleration and adjusted trajectory for maximum approach, it could pass within 1 million kilometers, maybe less. That's grazing distance on astronomical scales. Closer than some satellites. Close enough to be a deliberate encounter. Or a collision course. He compiled his analysis, sent it to NASA headquarters. Marked critical. Included recommendations. Prepare planetary defense options. Consider evacuation scenarios. Inform public before panic makes everything worse. The reply came back in minutes. One word: denied. No elaboration, no explanation. Just denied. His recommendations were rejected. The public would not be informed. Not yet. Not until when? Until what? Meanwhile, Dr. Alan Stern was conducting his own analysis from public data. He didn't have NASA's proprietary tracking information, but he had enough. Amateur observations, velocity measurements, position data. He ran the numbers, came to the same conclusions as Farnokia. Close approach, December 14th, 12 million kilometers or less, possibly much less. He posted to his blog at 16 Ranfraun UTC. Based on publicly available observations, 3I Atlas is now on a trajectory that will bring it extremely close to Earth in approximately 36 days. This is not speculation. This is orbital mechanics. The math is clear. Why is NASA silent? Why are world governments saying nothing? The silence is indefensible. His post went viral instantly. Millions of views in the first hour. News organizations picked it up. Renowned astronomer claims object on collision course ran headlines. Not quite accurate. Not collision, but close approach. But close enough to truth that nobody could debunk it. At 17 UTC, the White House finally responded. Brief press conference. Press secretary at the podium. Reading from prepared statement. We are aware of reports regarding the trajectory of the interstellar object designated 3I Atlas. NASA and other agencies are monitoring closely. At this time, there is no imminent threat to Earth or its population. The object will pass at a safe distance. We are continuing to monitor and will provide updates as warranted. We ask the public to remain calm and rely on official sources for information. That was it. No questions taken. No elaboration. Just a brief statement reassuring everything was fine and then leaving the podium. But the statement raised more questions than it answered. No imminent threat didn't mean no threat. Safe distance was subjective, and continuing to monitor suggested uncertainty. They didn't know exactly what would happen. They were hoping for the best. Dr. Loeb posted immediately. What is safe distance? 12 million kilometers? 1 million kilometers? 100,000 kilometers? And what about the object's behavior? It's under intelligent control. It's maneuvering. How do we know it won't maneuver closer? The press statement tells us nothing useful. Social media erupted. Half the population believing the government, half not. Fierce arguments. Panic buying increasing. Some cities seeing civil unrest. Police presence increased at stores and public buildings. November 8, 21 UTC. 17 hours after the acceleration began. A new development. 3I Atlas stopped accelerating. The velocity stabilized at 31.6 kilometers per second. The infrared signature cooled back to 400 Kelvin. The thrust had ended, but the damage was done. The velocity had increased by 3.2 km/s. The trajectory had changed permanently. The object was now locked onto its new path, and that path led close to Earth. November 9th, 02, on UTC. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson appeared via video link on multiple networks simultaneously. Unscheduled. Emergency broadcast. His face was haggard. He'd clearly been awake all night. Good evening. I'm speaking to you tonight about the interstellar object designated 3I Atlas. As many of you know, this object underwent an acceleration event approximately 24 hours ago. Its trajectory has changed. I'm here to provide clarity on what we know, what we don't know, and what we're doing about it. He paused, gathered himself, continued. 3I Atlas is now on a trajectory that will bring it close to Earth, very close. Our best calculations project a closest approach of approximately 15 million kilometers on December 14th, 2025. That is significantly closer than we would prefer, but it is not a collision course. Earth is not in danger of impact. However, we cannot explain the acceleration event through natural means. The object appears to be under some form of intelligent control. Whether that control is autonomous, a robotic probe, or directed by living beings, we do not know. We have been attempting to communicate with the object through radio transmissions. We have received no response. We do not know its origin, its purpose, or its intentions. I want to be clear. At this time, we have no evidence of hostile intent. The object has not taken any action that suggests aggression. But we also cannot rule out potential danger. We are tracking it continuously. We are preparing contingency plans. And we are coordinating with international partners. I apologize for the communication blackout over the past 24 hours. That was a mistake. In attempting to prevent panic, we created more fear through silence. That won't happen again. From this point forward, we will provide daily updates on 3I Atlas. We will be transparent about what we're seeing. You deserve to know the truth. The next 36 days will be critical. We ask for calm. We ask for patience. We ask that you trust the scientists and engineers who are working around the clock to understand this situation. And we ask that you prepare, not for disaster, but for uncertainty. Have emergency supplies. Know your local emergency protocols. Stay informed through official channels. We are living through a historic moment. An object from another star system is approaching our planet. Whether this is a threat or an opportunity remains to be seen. But we will face it together. As one species, one planet, One humanity. Thank you. The broadcast ended. Nelson's face disappeared, replaced by news anchors immediately beginning analysis. The public reaction was mixed. Some felt reassured. NASA was being honest, transparent, admitting uncertainty while providing facts. Others felt more afraid. 15 million kilometers sounded like a lot, until you realized it was just 40 times the distance to the moon. In cosmic terms, that was nothing. Religious leaders worldwide gave addresses. Some called it Judgment Day. Others called it divine contact. Most urged calm and faith. Scientists began giving interviews again. Dr. Loeb on CNN, Dr. Stern on BBC, Dr. Bannister on Australian networks, all saying similar things. This is real, it's unprecedented, and we should take it seriously while not panicking. November 9th, 12th and 14th. UTC. More information came from an unexpected source. The radio signal that amateur astronomers had detected was analyzed by SETI researchers. Dr. Seth Shostak at the SETI Institute held a press conference. We have analyzed the radio transmission from 3I Atlas. The signal is definitely artificial. It contains mathematical sequences, prime numbers, Fibonacci numbers, binary counting, the universal language of intelligence. But there's more. Embedded in the signal is what appears to be a simple image. Pixelated, low resolution, but decipherable. We've reconstructed it. The screen behind him displayed an image, grainy, black and white, showing a circle with 8 radiating lines, and Earth, clearly Earth with its distinctive continents, marked as the 3rd line. They're showing us they know the solar system. They know Earth's position. They know where we are. This is not random exploration. They came here deliberately, to this system, to this planet. The image created more questions than answers. They knew about us. But how much did they know? Had they been watching for years? Decades? Were they responding to our radio transmissions? Had they detected our biosignature atmosphere? Or something else entirely? December 13th, 2025, 04:15 UTC. Just when everyone thought they understood the situation, 3IR Atlas did it again. Another acceleration event, smaller than the first, more subtle, but unmistakable. Dr. Warwick was the first to catch it. Temperature spike. Not as dramatic as the first event, rising from 250 Kelvin to 420 Kelvin over 5 minutes, then stabilizing. The object was firing thrusters again, adjusting course again, maneuvering again. He immediately called Farnokia. It's happening again, another burn, smaller, but it's changing trajectory. Farnokia was already on it, already processing new velocity measurements, already calculating the updated path. His software ran the numbers, projected the new trajectory, and his blood ran cold. The new course wasn't taking 3I Atlas past Earth at 15 million kilometers. It was bringing it much closer. 2.4 million kilometers, 6 times closer than the Moon. Satellite orbit distance, December 19th, 6 days from now. Oh my God, Farnokia whispered. It's coming right to us, right to orbital distance. This is deliberate. This is targeted. This is a rendezvous. He sent the update to NASA headquarters immediately. Marked urgent priority. Within minutes, emergency meetings were convening. National Security Council, Joint Chiefs, International Space Agency coordination. Everyone scrambling to understand what this meant. At 04:33 UTC, NASA released a brief statement. 3I Atlas has performed another trajectory adjustment. Updated calculations show closest approach will now occur December 19th at approximately 2.4 million kilometers from Earth. This is significantly closer than previous estimates. We are monitoring continuously and will provide updates. The statement was carefully worded. but everyone could read between the lines. The object was maneuvering closer, deliberately, targeting Earth specifically, coming to our doorstep. By 06 UTC, the news had spread globally. Emergency broadcasts, breaking news alerts, social media explosion. Object coming 6 times closer, screamed headlines. Arrival in 6 days, read the ticker on CNN. Panic buying resumed. Stores emptied of food, water, batteries. Gas stations seeing lines. Banks seeing runs. Stock markets plummeting. Governments activating emergency protocols. At 08 UTC, NASA Administrator Nelson appeared again. Live broadcast. Early this morning, 3I Atlas performed another course adjustment. The object will now pass significantly closer than our previous projections indicated. Closest approach is now calculated at 2.4 million kilometers on December 19th. I want to emphasize, this is still not a collision trajectory. Earth is not in danger of impact. However, the object's behavior, its repeated course changes, its apparent targeting of our planet, leads us to one unavoidable conclusion. 3I Atlas is under intelligent control, and Earth is its deliberate destination. We can no longer avoid the obvious. This is first contact. An artificial object from another star system is approaching Earth intentionally. We do not know if this represents a threat or an opportunity. We do not know the intentions of whoever or whatever sent it. But we know it's coming. In 6 days, it will arrive. All nations are coordinating response. Military forces are on alert, but not engaging unless attacked. Scientific instruments are positioned to gather maximum data. Communication attempts continue. We are ready for any scenario. To whoever is controlling 3I Atlas, we see you. We acknowledge your presence. We request communication. We hope for peaceful contact. We are ready to meet you. To all humanity, these next 6 days will determine our future. Stay calm. Stay informed. Stay together. We face this as one species, and whatever comes, we face it with courage, with hope, and with the knowledge that we are not alone in the universe. Thank you. December 14th through December 18th. 5 days of global preparation. 5 days of humanity holding its breath. 5 days until the most important moment in our species' history. Governments issued guidelines. Not evacuation. Nowhere to evacuate to. But preparation. Have emergency supplies for 2 weeks. Know your emergency protocols. Stay near communication devices. Be ready for anything. Religious services held continuously. Churches, mosques, temples, synagogues all open 24 hours. People praying, seeking comfort, seeking meaning. Some saw it as apocalypse, others as revelation. Most just wanted answers. Scientists worked frantically. Every telescope on Earth pointed at 3I Atlas, every sensor activated, every instrument ready, gathering data, trying to understand what was coming. Hubble Space Telescope provided the clearest images yet. The cylindrical body unmistakable. 400 meters long, maybe 80 meters wide. Surface covered in geometric patterns. Panels, structures. Definitely artificial. Definitely engineered. Definitely a spacecraft. One end had an opening, like a hangar bay. Dark, but occasionally flashes of light from within. Movement. Activity. Something happening inside. Amateur astronomers tracked it obsessively. The object was magnitude 5 now. Visible to naked eye in dark skies. Thousands posting images. Watching the visitor approach. Documenting history. Radio telescopes listened continuously. The mathematical signal continued. Prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, Binary patterns, on loop, like a beacon, like an announcement. Like, here we are, here we come, we mean no harm. SETI tried responding. Multiple frequencies, different message formats, always the same greeting. We receive your signal, we acknowledge your presence, we welcome peaceful contact, we request dialogue. No response. 3i Atlas transmitted its message but acknowledged nothing. Either couldn't receive our signals, chose not to respond, or was following some protocol that required silence until arrival. December 18th. One day until arrival. Distance, 3 million kilometers. Magnitude, 3. Bright as the brightest stars. Visible even from cities. Everyone could see it. Everyone was watching. That evening, the UN Secretary-General gave an address, broadcast globally. Tomorrow, humanity faces the unknown. An object from beyond our world will arrive at our doorstep. We do not know what will happen. We do not know what they want. But we know this. We face it together. United. Hopeful. Ready. To our visitors, we welcome you. We greet you in peace. We offer our world's diversity, our creativity, our resilience as evidence of our worth. We hope you come as friends. To all humanity, sleep well tonight. Tomorrow, everything changes. Tomorrow, we learn we are not alone. Tomorrow, our place in the cosmos transforms forever. May we be worthy of this moment. December 19th, 2025. 10301 UTC. The day arrived. 3i Atlas was 2.6 million kilometers away. Hours from closest approach. Scheduled for 1422 UTC. The object was magnitude 1, bright as Sirius, beautiful, terrifying, moving perceptibly against the stars. Everyone on Earth who could see the sky was watching. At 06 node UTC, something changed. The rotation that had been constant for weeks suddenly stopped. The object oriented itself, pointed one end directly at Earth. The hangar end, the dark opening, facing us, like watching, like targeting, like preparing. Its achieved attitude lock, Dr. Farnokia reported, pointing directly at Earth. This is controlled, deliberate. They're positioning for something. At 10 EDU to UTC, light. From inside the hangar. Faint at first, then brighter, blue-white, like floodlights, like stadium lighting, illuminating the interior, making the darkness visible. Telescopes zoomed maximum magnification, tried to see inside. Movement, definite movement, shapes, structures, things happening, preparations, like something was about to emerge. At 12:02 UTC, it began. Small objects detaching from 3i Atlas, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20. Small craft, spherical, maybe 10 meters across, spreading out from the main body, taking up positions around it. Formation flying, coordinated. They're deploying, Dr. Stern said on live television. Sending out scouts, or probes, or we don't know. But something's launching. The 20 small craft arranged themselves in a sphere around 3i Atlas, evenly distributed. Perfect geometry. Then they began pulsing, emitting light. Different colors, red, blue, green, yellow, white. Rhythmic. Beautiful. Like a display. Like a greeting. At 14 ode UTC, the transmission came. Radio. Loud, clear, strong signal. From 3i Atlas directly. Not the mathematical message. Something new. Something different. A voice. Synthesized. Artificial. But speaking English. Perfect pronunciation. People of Earth. We greet you. We are the coordinators. We travel between stars managing the development of emerging civilizations. We detected you decades ago. Your radio signals, your technological signatures, signs of species approaching cosmic awareness. We came to evaluate, to determine if you are ready. Ready for what? Everyone listening wondered simultaneously. Ready for contact. Ready for truth. Ready to know you are not alone. We have observed 847 biological civilizations, helped 302 survive their technological adolescence, watched 212 destroy themselves. You are the 333rd currently under evaluation. Your species shows promise, creativity, resilience, but also danger, violence, short-term thinking, environmental destruction. You stand at a threshold. The next century will determine if you survive or join the failures. We came to offer assistance, knowledge, technology, guidance. But we cannot force you to accept. We cannot save you from yourselves. We can only provide tools, opportunities, choices. What you do with them determines your fate. We will demonstrate our peaceful intent. We will leave gifts. We will depart. And we will watch from afar. If you wish further contact, you will find methods in the gifts we leave. If you choose isolation, we will respect that. But know this: you are not alone. You never were. The galaxy is populated, and we hope you will join us among the stars. At 1422 UTC, closest approach, 2.4 million kilometers, the 20 small craft simultaneously released something. Tiny objects, thousands of them, glowing, self-luminous, spreading outward, floating toward Earth's orbital path, drifting, gentle. Not weapons, not threats. Gifts, message containers, data capsules. Things for us to retrieve and study. And then 3I Atlas began accelerating. Not toward Earth. Away, outward. The main craft firing thrusters. The 20 escort vessels reforming, taking up departure positions. They'd come. They'd delivered their message. And now, they were leaving. Within 2 hours, 3I Atlas was already 3 million kilometers away. Moving fast, accelerating continuously. The brilliant object in the sky dimming, receding. Magnitude 3 by 16 UTC. Magnitude 5 by 20 UTC. Magnitude 7 by midnight. Fading. Leaving. Going back to wherever it came from. But the gifts remained. Thousands of small objects floating in space, drifting along trajectories that would bring them close to Earth over the next weeks and months. Each one a data capsule, each one containing information, technology, knowledge, everything they promised to share. The first retrieval mission launched December 20th. SpaceX Crew Dragon carrying 4 astronauts. Mission: recover as many gift capsules as possible. Bring them back for analysis. By December 22nd, they had retrieved 17. Small spheres, about basketball-sized, metallic, covered in the same symbols that marked 3I Atlas's hull. Writing, instructions, labels. One capsule had a display panel, inactive during retrieval, but once inside the spacecraft, it lit up, showing symbols, text, a message. Dr. Yamamoto, the linguist who'd been studying the symbols, translated, "This contains basic knowledge, science, mathematics, engineering, medicine, energy production, space travel, introduction to galactic civilization. Use wisely, share freely, build carefully, survive." There are 3,147 capsules total. Each contains different information. Together, they form complete database. Everything you need to advance your civilization by centuries, to solve your greatest challenges, to join us among stars. But knowledge without wisdom brings destruction. Technology without ethics brings suffering. Power without restraint brings extinction. Choose carefully how you use what we give. Your survival depends on your choices. When ready, when united, when mature, contact us. Coordinates included. Methods provided. We will respond. We will welcome you. But only if you prove worthy. Only if you survive your adolescence. Only if you choose wisdom over power. We are watching, hoping, waiting. May you thrive. May you grow. May you join us someday. Until then, peace. December 23rd, 2025. The 17 capsules were brought to a secure facility. International team assembled. Scientists from every major nation. Linguists, engineers, computer scientists, experts in every field. Ready to unlock whatever knowledge the coordinators had left. One capsule was designated primary. The one with the active display. The one that seemed designed as the entry point. Dr. Yamamoto led the translation effort. The symbols on the display were slowly becoming clear. Instructions. A user interface. A way to access the data inside. It took 18 hours. Careful work. Cross-referencing every symbol. Building vocabulary. Understanding grammar. But by December 24th, Christmas Eve, they had it. The unlock sequence. The access code. Dr. Yamamoto entered the final symbol. The display changed, brightened, text scrolling, then images, then data streams. The capsule was opening its contents, sharing what it contained. The first file was labeled, in symbols they could now read. Introduction. Read first. Understand before proceeding. The file contained a video, not human video. Their format, but translatable, viewable. It showed a being, not mechanical like some expected. Biological, but not human. Tall, slender, 4 limbs like us, but proportions different. Skin smooth, iridescent, eyes large, dark, beautiful in an alien way. The being spoke. The audio was synthesized into English. Perfect, clear. Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Coordinator 7th Circle, Administrative Overseer of Sector 447, which includes your star system. What you are about to access represents 120 million years of accumulated knowledge from 302 civilizations that survived their technological emergence. We give this to you freely because we were given similar gifts by those who came before us. This is how civilizations survive. By helping each other. By sharing. By ensuring that knowledge learned through suffering is not lost, but passed forward. The database contains complete scientific framework beyond your current understanding. Physics, including unified field theory. Chemistry of exotic elements. Biology, including consciousness studies and life extension. Complete medical knowledge, including treatments for all major diseases you currently face. Energy production methods. Fusion. Matter-antimatter. Zero-point extraction. Propulsion systems for interstellar travel. Field manipulation. Space-time engineering. Manufacturing techniques. Molecular assembly. Programmable matter. Computational systems far beyond your current capability. Quantum computing. Neural interfaces. Artificial consciousness. But also, warnings. Every civilization that received this knowledge faced a choice. Use it wisely and survive. Use it recklessly and perish. 302 chose wisely. 212 chose poorly. The difference was not intelligence, not technology, not resources. The difference was wisdom, unity, restraint. The most dangerous period is the first 50 years after receiving advanced knowledge. Power increases faster than wisdom. Capability exceeds maturity. Weapons become possible before peace becomes certain. This is when civilizations either unite or destroy themselves. Your species currently exhibits both promise and danger. You have creativity, resilience, diversity that creates strength. But you also have division, tribalism, short-term thinking that threatens your survival. The next 50 years will determine your fate. Use this knowledge to solve your problems. Climate, disease, resource scarcity, energy needs. Use it to unite, to mature, to become the species you have potential to be. Or weaponize it. Create tools of destruction. Compete rather than cooperate. Divide rather than unite. And join the 212 failures we mourn. The choice is entirely yours. We will not interfere, will not stop you from making mistakes, will not save you from yourselves. Free will is sacred, even if it leads to destruction. But we hope, we believe you can choose wisely. Your species has survived much, overcome much. You have potential for greatness. We want to see you thrive. When you are ready, contact us. Coordinates included. We will respond. We will welcome you as full members of the galactic community. But only if you prove worthy. Only if you survive. Only if you choose the harder path of wisdom over the easier path of power. Good luck, humans of Earth. We are watching, hoping, waiting for the day you join us among the stars. The video ended. The room was silent. Every scientist processing what they'd just seen, what they'd just been offered, what they'd just been warned about. Dr. Loeb spoke first. They're testing us. This is a test. They give us the tools to save ourselves or destroy ourselves, and they watch to see which we choose. It's not a test, Dr. Bannister said quietly. It's a choice, a real choice, with real consequences. They're giving us everything we need to survive the next century, or everything we need to end ourselves in the next decade. What we do with it determines if we're worthy of joining them. December 25th, 2025. Christmas Day. The President of the United States addressed the nation. Similar addresses happening in every country, every language, every culture, all saying the same thing. Yesterday, we unlocked the gift left by the coordinators. What we found is both the greatest opportunity and the greatest danger humanity has ever faced. We have been given knowledge that could solve every major problem we face. End disease, end energy scarcity, end climate change, end the threats that could destroy our civilization. But we have also been given knowledge that could create weapons beyond imagination, tools of destruction that could end our species in hours. The choice of which path we take is ours, and that choice will determine if our children inherit a thriving world or inherit nothing at all. I am calling for an emergency session of the United Nations, every nation, every leader, coming together to decide how we proceed, how we use this knowledge, how we ensure it saves us rather than destroys us. This is not an American decision, not a Chinese decision, not a Russian or European or any single nation's decision. This is a human decision, and we must make it together, united, as one species facing one choice. The coordinators are watching, waiting to see if we are worthy. Let us prove that we are. Let us show that humanity, when faced with ultimate choice, chooses wisdom, chooses unity, chooses survival. Let us make them proud. Let us earn our place among the stars. January 2026. The United Nations established the Office of Advanced Knowledge Integration. Every nation contributing. Every scientist participating. The task: safely integrate the coordinator knowledge into human civilization without causing destruction. Priority 1. Medical technology. Within weeks, new treatments were being tested. Cancer therapies from the database showing 95% success rates. Genetic therapies for inherited diseases. Life extension treatments that could add decades to human lifespan. Priority 2. Energy. Fusion reactor designs from the database tested. Working prototypes achieved by March 2026. Clean, unlimited power. No carbon emissions. no radiation danger. Energy abundance for the first time in human history. Priority 3. Climate restoration. The database contained methods for atmospheric carbon capture at scale, ocean cleanup technologies, ecosystem restoration techniques. Implementation began immediately. Within 6 months, atmospheric carbon levels began dropping for the first time in 200 years. But not everyone was happy. Some nations wanted military applications, wanted weapons, wanted advantage over rivals. The database contained weapons technology too. Terrible weapons, antimatter bombs, nanoweapons, biological agents, things that made nuclear weapons look primitive. International treaties were negotiated, agreements signed, global monitoring established. The weapons knowledge would be locked, accessible only by unanimous vote of all nations. Effectively, never. But enforcement was difficult. Rogue actors existed. Black markets formed. The temptation was enormous. By 2030, the first crisis emerged. A terrorist group had somehow accessed weapons data, built a device, threatened major city, demanded radical changes to global government. The crisis was resolved through negotiation and clever use of new defensive technology from the database. But the warning was clear. The knowledge could leak, could be misused. Eternal vigilance was required. By 2035, visible progress was undeniable. Global carbon emissions down 60%. Cancer mortality reduced 80%. Life expectancy increased by 15 years. Fusion power online in 130 countries. Poverty rates dropping dramatically. The knowledge was working. Humanity was thriving. But tensions remained. Nationalism hadn't disappeared. Tribalism persisted. Old conflicts simmered. The coordinators were right. Technology advanced faster than wisdom. Power increased faster than maturity. The dangerous period was real. By 2040, humanity reached a milestone. 15 years without major war. Longest period of relative peace in recorded history. Not perfect peace. Conflicts existed, but large-scale warfare had become unthinkable, too destructive, too dangerous. The weapons available made war equivalent to mutual extinction. By 2045, space development accelerated. Using propulsion technology from the database, humanity built ships that could reach Mars in 2 weeks, established permanent colonies on Moon and Mars, began asteroid mining. Humanity was becoming spacefaring. By 2050, the assessment point, 50 years since contact. The coordinators had said this was the critical period. Survive this, and survival becomes likely. Fail this, and extinction becomes probable. Humanity had survived. Barely. 3 close calls with weapons accidents, 2 near wars that almost escalated, 1 rogue AI incident that nearly got out of control, but survived, learned, adapted, grew wiser. And on December 19, 2075, exactly 50 years after the coordinators' visit, humanity made a decision. The UN voted. Unanimous. Contact them. Accept the invitation. Join the galactic community. Using the methods provided in the database, a message was sent. Quantum communication. Instantaneous across light years. This is humanity. We survived. We grew. We learned. We are ready. We wish to join you. We wish to meet you properly. We wish to become full members of the community of civilized species. We are ready. The response came in 14 hours, from the coordinators, from others, from the 302 surviving civilizations, all welcoming, all celebrating, all saying, "Welcome, well done, you passed, you earned your place. Now come, join us. The galaxy is vast, but it is less lonely with friends." And humanity, finally united, finally mature, finally worthy, began building the ships that would take us to the stars, to meet our neighbors, to join the great community, to become what we always had potential to be. The age of isolation was over. The age of cosmic citizenship had begun. And Earth, the pale blue dot that once seemed alone in the void, was now a recognized member of something vast, something ancient, something beautiful, a galaxy full of minds, full of friends, full of life. The coordinators had been right to hope. Humanity had chosen wisely, and the future was brighter than anyone had imagined possible.